We're talking a lot about movies, so in games, usually sequels are better. Usually, it's not always the rule, but you expect more from them, that's for sure. With movies, it's like, if it's part 3, you're like, okay, it will be the same thing for the third time, so probably I will not go and watch it. So with games, there is a lot of moving elements. I mean, first of all, RPGs are extremely difficult to make. So with the first one, we had to set up the tech. We actually licensed BioWare's Aurora engine. It so happened that at the end of the 5 years development cycle, 90% of the code was written from scratch by us. So it was only 10% of the original Aurora, but still, we had the engine, we were fighting with cooking builds and whatnot, so the whole technical aspect was very difficult. We wrote a lot of new tools, which then enabled us to tell the story the way we wanted it to be told. And so Witcher 1, when we closed it, we were first and foremost very happy that we managed to ship a game. What's also an achievement when you do it for the first time. That it was great, but then we wanted to correct so many elements. Obviously, this is the common developer's question, like, hey, how long should I work on it? Because you can work on a game endlessly, and there are some cases out there like that. But I think also the art of development is to ship games. We are great supporters of that, internally especially. We're getting towards the end of the development. So the Witcher 1, we learned a lot, we introduced certain mechanics, and then it was like, okay, we could correct this and that, and we definitely wanted to tell the story in a more cinematic way, but Aurora Engine was not allowing that to happen. I mean, everything is possible. We would probably have to write a dozen of new tools and rewrite part of the engine, so we decided to write our own technology. We wrote Red Engine alongside The Witcher 2. We also enabled it for the consoles. So again, what you don't see in the movie industry, this is another like a technical limitation. Well, my game will not work on a console because the tech is not ready for that. So we got over that with Witcher 2, but in Witcher 2, because we already had this technology and it was our technology, so it was RPG ready, or actually our RPG ready, we were able to focus on really more cinematic presentation of characters. So you could see, like, if you look at Witcher 1, Witcher 2, and Witcher 2, you see a lot more close-ups. The camera work, it's really cool. The mimics, although the mimic system was not perfect, I can admit it now, but still, it was more cinematic in a way of introducing you into the story. And it's different than the more hardcore, just more like a third-person perspective kind of approach of The Witcher 1. And then it immerses you more into the story. And then we've taken all that, and then The Red Engine was even more mature, and we decided, okay, now is the time, we are ready to give it a go in an open world. So give player the freedom, use the cinematic storytelling, improve it even more, and let's make the game of our dreams. And that very much was The Witcher 3. So it sort of applies all the learnings from the previous two parts in practice and makes it bigger and better. And I think, both the Metacritic score and the numerous awards we got are the best proof of that it's not just me talking, but game is really appreciated. So this is the first part. The second part is from The Witcher 1, which was like a quite hardcore Eastern European game, which was successful in the region, Germany. And then in US was more like, hey, have you played The Witcher? Yeah, I'm the baddest guy. I know how to play The Witcher. I even finished it. And then the toughest guy on the block. To Witcher 3, we're playing it was just fun because we've spent a lot of time on the immersion curve or on introducing you to the interface. I still remember the review when The Witcher 2 PC came out. It was from one of the it wasn't a Mac, it was a website here in the US, and the guys wrote that the level of difficulty they played on normal was so high that he died 50 times in the prologue, and we're like, we have to rebalance it. So we are learning this. We are learning this. I think Witcher 3 is the best proof that that lessons have been learned. And right now, with the next one, we really want to do it even better. I think that's what we are learning a lot from the Western approach, especially here in the US. Easy to play, hard to master. That's the ultimate goal.